Mikhail Grushevsky, the person who considered the first president in the recent history of Ukraine, the author of 200 works in the field of Ukrainian and world history, which enriched European and national science, leader of Central Council of the Ukrainian People's Republic, 1917-1918.
Pavlo Skoropadsky, a descendant of the Cossack hetman, a fighting Russian general who revived the tradition of hetmanship during the Ukrainian Revolution. He laid the foundation of Ukraine's regular army, created the Ukrainian educational system and founded the first Ukrainian Academy of Sciences. Not finding support from the Ukrainian Revolution Democrats, he emigrated abroad. Dmitry Donsov, philosopher, literary critic, publicist, ideologist of the Ukrainian Conservative Revolution. He was the spiritual father of the Organization of Ukrainian Nationals of UN. This should be our nationalist idea, comprehensive, exclusive, bright, the slogan of which is not rest and enjoyment, but action and the will to power over detached foundation.
Микола Міхновський, a lawyer, a political and public figure, founder of Ukrainian nationalism, a descendant of the ancient Cossack family who became the ideologist of the independence movement in the Ukrainian movement of the beginning of the 20th century.
Микола Міхновський у 27 років написав «Самостійну Україну», брошуру, з якої розпочався новітній український націоналізм.
Katerina Bilakour, a Ukrainian artist of the genre of naive art, master of folk decorative painting. Included in the list of the most famous women of ancient and modern Ukraine.
Ilya Repin, a Ukrainian artist-painter. The artist managed to solve the task of reflection in a portable work of diversity of the surrounding life. In his work, he managed to cover all aspects of modernity, to touch on topics that worry the public. He reached sharply to the millions of the time. Vasil Khrushchevsky, a landscape painter who simultaneously accepted as innovator in architecture, book graphics, applied art, and design of textual and cinematographic performances. The Central Rada approved the project of the code of emblem of the Ukrainian People's Republics, where Khrushchevsky developed by him on the basics of Volodymyr Trident.
Volodymyr Vinnychenko, an outside figure in the history of Ukraine, not only as a writer and one of the participants of the Ukrainization movement, but also as an active political figure of the first half of the 20th century.
Alexei Biketov, an outstanding Ukrainian architect who designed the appearance of the first capital of Ukraine. He is the author of the projects of more than 40 public and residential buildings in Kharkiv.
Hnat Hotkevich, a famous writer, composer, art critic, ethnographer, teacher, social and political activist, founder of the first spoken theater in Ukraine, the author of about 600 musical works.
Les Kurbas, director, actor, theatrist, playwright, publicist, translator. He organized a studio of young actors, with later grave out of the young theater. Les Kurbas at first was the founder of the political 1922-1926 and the philosophical 1926-1933 theater in Ukraine. In the performance of the philosophical theater based in Kharkiv, Kurbas paints a universe where the main things as space and trust and human life in all its contradictions.
Ім'я режисера українського театру Леся Курбаса, народженого в Галичині у 1887 році, без жодного сумніву мусить стояти між корифеями театру ХХ століття.
Pedro Bolbochan, the son of Praise who became a colonel of the Upperels army and liberator of Crimea. The unit formed by Bolbochan became of the most combat capable units of the army of the Ukrainian People's Republic. They played a key role in the liberation of Kiev in the February 1918 and during the liberation of the left bank of the southern Ukraine from the Bolbocheviks. Reality conducted the Crimean Operation April 1918. Ivan Pedubny, Ukraine athlete of lesser six-time world champion in the wrestling. The secret of the outlasting hero's invisibility, the wonderful combination of exceptional practical possibilities with his sports style, which he deployed himself those persistent and long-term works.
Alexander Olesy, Ukrainian poet, dramatist, representative of symbolism, father of a poet and political figure, Oleg Olzhich. The earth split open, and Khmelnytsky, Mazepa, and Bugun come out of radius coffins, and strong shackles are removed from will, and happy songs are sung with tears.